Justin Trudeau knows he can't broker away provincial rights. He knows he can't broker away monopolies. He knows he can't broker away public utilities that belong to the province and the people. He knows he can't broker away municipal and provincial social programs. What are they going to say except, l'état c'est moi?
What is this free trade tactic really all about? It's about taking away democracy, for one thing. It's about rendering the nation state less than sovereign. It's about all those things that Rocco just said. It's about a neoliberal agenda being put in place so firmly globally that we are stripped of all our rights.
But if CETA were ratified and implemented, prosperity would never be restored, nor the backlog of needs met, because European banks would sue Canada for tens or hundreds of billions of dollars if we denied them the opportunity to lend us the money and buy up our real assets for 5 cents on the dollar and keep us in poverty forever. The war between the rich and the poor that the rich have been winning would be over. So CETA must not only wither on the vine, but die on the vine and become nothing more than a footnote to history.
But CETA does apply to subnational levels of government.
You're wrong. It's in the Statement of Claim. Chapter 2, Section 2, Sub 2, says that the federal government undertakes to ensure that the objectives and the enforcement of the treaty is implemented by all levels of government, including provincial and municipal. And I'm basically quoting almost verbatim. So the federal government is going out there and saying, I promise that everybody in Canada, including the provinces and the municipalities, will comply with the treaty, knowing full well they have, one, no business promising that because it's unconstitutional, and two, no way in enforcing that because it's unconstitutional.
There are two profound reasons for opposing the ratification of CETA. First, it would be illegal. It would result in a unilateral change in the Constitution of Canada. And that is outside the power of both the government and Parliament. The second reason is that to ratify CETA would be monstrously immoral. It would be the biggest betrayal of Canadian rights and privileges in the history of the country. Not only would it give foreign banks and corporations greater rights in Canada than those enjoyed by Canadian citizens, which is indescribably wrong, in my opinion. It would give foreign bankers an effective veto over use of our most valuable financial asset, the Bank of Canada, at the very moment when we need it most.
Okay, just brass tacks. The government will no longer be, the provincial governments will no longer be able to, without penalty to the federal government, give subsidies for healthcare, education, all the social programs that you see municipally in terms of, community programs, welfare, and all of that, okay? If they do so, then the federal government, if it breaches a right, will have to pay. So how does the federal government avoid paying because the provinces won't let them do it? Well, behind the scenes, the federal government will use their spending power to say to the provinces, look, if you don't play ball on this, we'll cut our transfer payments to you for education and health. That's been how they've been able to implement the NAFTA when it's encroaching on provincial rights. So expect exorbitant utility bills, hydro, you've already seen them. Mm-hmm. Expect a cutting of educational program, a cutting of health benefits, on and on and on. So education, health, social programs, roads too, because private corporations will be able to compete with the government. It used to be that the government built highways. Now they're going to come in and privatize the roads, bridges, on and on.
what you're getting is a growing inequality and a horrendous transfer of power from the people to the corporations, from governments to corporations. Governments have been put in their place. This is a monstrous moment in history. We are living in a defining moment, I think. And the first thing we need to do is to help one another to know enough, to know what we're up against, so that we can act